Tesla is really struggling to sell the Cybertrucks. They have over $800 million worth of Cybertrucks that nobody is buying.
I got 20 Acura ZDXs sitting at the port right now that I'm going to give to you and you alone and see if you can sell them.
There you go. So I'm at the Mercedes dealership and look how many EQSs are for sale here. I mean, they're just lined up.
Okay, so today we're going to be going over some of the dealerships and manufacturers that can't sell their vehicles right now, but we're specifically looking at the EV market. With numerous examples of these cars depreciating very quickly, the reliability issues along with the still very high price, even after all of the discounts we're going to see today, I honestly can't really say that I'm too surprised. We have a ton to go over today looking at a lot of manufacturers along with comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave it in the comments down below. But let's start off with a couple of the big EV brands.
Tesla is really struggling to sell the Cybertrucks. They have over $800 million worth of Cybertrucks that nobody is buying. This Tesla dealership has tons of Cybertrucks on the lot. When the Cybertrucks were first announced, they got over 1 million reservations, but once they were actually released, they've only sold 52,000 Cybertrucks. The sales peaked in Q3 of 2024, but have started declining ever since. Now, when they first announced the Cybertruck, they said it was going to be $39,000, but the actual price as of July 2025 was $62,490.
And that must be for the bare bones edition, because we've seen people pay $70,000, $80,000, even $100,000 for the Cybertruck when it first came out, and now nobody wants to drive around in a rolling dumpster. Who would have thought? On top of some other news with the Tesla Roadster, many people have done the same thing as the Cybertruck, put deposits down before the car even came out, but they're constantly having delays getting pushed back farther and farther. So I don't think I have to say it's pretty difficult for dealerships to sell the car if it doesn't come out. But we can look at one of the comments here. As a Rivian shareholder, I'm pleased to hear this. So this creator responded to that comment with this clip.
Rivian is losing over $30,000 on every truck they sell. Rivian delivered 8,640 vehicles in Q1 of 2025, which is down 36% year over year, but it still met expectations.
Still meeting expectations, but dropping 36% along with losing a ton of money every time they sell a car does not seem like the best business model to me. But yet again, going to the comments section, there was a very interesting take. The Honda Prologue is going to eat up the market when people realize what it's possible of. I guess he was trying to say the possibilities of the car, but we've gone over that vehicle before. It's a reskinned Chevy Blazer EV with the Honda badge on it, but all the problems of a GM product. So when you start seeing clips like this with all these crazy deals, it's a telltale sign that these dealerships cannot sell them.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national lease offer on the 2025 Honda Prologue all-wheel drive Touring is so good, let me share it with you. So right now you can lease this car for $3,299 due at signing, and the monthly payment is just $179 a month for 24 months. This lease allows for 10,000 miles a year, it expires on September 30th, 2025, and the MSRP on this Honda is a whopping $56,195.
$56,000 for a Honda EV, and you're surprised that it didn't sell? But it's a Chevy, no thanks. Good luck finding a 2025 Prologue first and a dealer that'll offer you this deal. These are ways to direct traffic to dealerships to entice customers to get one anyway. So either way you look at it, either they're trying to get these off the lot because they're not selling, or the dealership's lying to you about discounts, trying to get you in the vehicle anyway, or something else on the lot. Either way doesn't look good to me, but we could go over to yet another version of the Chevy Blazer EV, just in the form of an Acura.
1 year, that's all it took. Another company just canned their EV, and something tells me this was their plan all along. A few years back, one of the most peculiar partnerships in the auto industry came about. Honda and General Motors teamed up to make 2 new electric SUVs. Honda would leverage GM's Ultium EV platform to put out the Acura ZDX and the Honda Prologue. Both were practically the exact same and hardly any different from their Chevy counterparts. Well, today, Honda confirmed that the Acura ZDX will be discontinued after just 1 model year. Although backed by plenty of fat incentives, the car was just not selling well.
I've never seen a ZDX on the road before. That's how awful they're selling. Honestly, I don't think I've seen one either. Breaking news, Acuras are just expensive Hondas. I know the exact same thing could be said about Lexus, even though they seem to be much more popular right now. I didn't even know the Acura ZDX existed yet. So this is when you start seeing salesmen complain about them being on their lots, just trying to get rid of them any way they can.
It's September 30th and I still have it. And that one. I did sell a blue one though.
This price is coming in so cheap that I actually have to just quadruple check this because this is actually insane. We had one of our Acura stores call me out of the blue, the GM of that store, and he said, hey, I got 20 Acura ZDXs sitting at the port right now that I'm going to give to you and you alone and see if you can sell them. Assuming it is, 36-month deal, assuming you qualify for the Conquest, which it looks like you do, you're at $365 a month on this car. $70,000 vehicle, $365 a month.
So not only was it a reskinned Chevy, but they were trying to put a $70,000 price tag on it as well. Again, you wonder why this wasn't selling? Now, just because they listed it for $70,000 doesn't mean it's actually worth that at all, because we could go over to the comment section again. I have 3 customers I put into this car going through lemon law now. I'd sooner put someone into a Mitsubishi. Another comment from you guys that goes well specifically with the MSRP of the Acura. I'm gonna save on gas, spend $70,000 on a car they barely use? Okay, because that seemed to be one of the big reasonings on why people were buying EVs. They were going to save a whole bunch of money on gas. Some people believed that the charging stations were free, that they didn't have to pay for the electricity, which is not true, and now they'd be stuck with a $70,000 Chevy rebadge that got discontinued, so the depreciation is going to be terrible. But keeping on with the GM products, we go to a much higher MSRP.
If you're looking for an electric vehicle, we have about 200 more of these. Escalade IQs, Vistics, Lyrics, Optics. We even have the Nimbus. It's a Lyric V right here. And no, they're not going to be the same price as a Tesla, but you're getting a whole different kind of car. Build quality, a car engineered to drive, super smooth. Not just a computer wrapped in metal.
He's just running through the names of all these vehicles that I have no idea even existed. That's how few are on the road or advertised at all. And him also saying it's not the price of a Tesla, you go right over to the comments, it's about $156,000. No thank you. Did he say build quality on a GM product? Okay. Cadillac has reliability issues, and you can't get away from the fact that brand new cars are just rolling iPads now. The electronics are so ingrained now that it is just a computer wrapped in metal. My Lyric is by far the worst vehicle I've ever leased in my life. Been to the dealer more times than I can count in 40 days. There is not a time where there isn't some sort of light on the dash. Can't wait to give this thing back. And the best part is, after 2 years, I'll probably only have around 7,000 miles on it. That's how many times it's been broken. But hey, good luck to you. Probably not the best sales pitch for these vehicles, but we have another comment from you. Car dealers screwed the public during COVID by adding tens of thousands to the price, and now it's payback time. Because people are not buying now. But we could take a look at one of the clips with this absurd markup, especially for this car.
All right, y'all, this is officially the worst car deal I have ever seen. All right, we'll zoom in just a second. It's for a 2023 Chevy Bolt. So when people say they hate car dealers, you have to understand why. The MSRP on the vehicle is $29,875. Then you've got Clear Pro door edge and handle guards for $700. Then you've got Express Theft Code theft deterrent thing for $700. And you've got Red Alert rear collision deterrent for $800. Then you've got SealaJet for $600. And you've got Family Link Spartan GPS Safe Cat, that's $1,500. Then another thing for $900. Then your price is $35,000. Then there's a dock fee. Then there's taxes. Then there's the new warranty, which is $4,500. Then there's the gap. And now it's $45,000. Bro, what the?
This is all on a Chevy Bolt, but the dealers were allowed to go crazy during COVID because of the chip shortage. I mean, here's another one of the clips. 4 dealers charging $200,000 for an F-150 Lightning when it first came out, basically bending the rules as well because they weren't allowed to charge this much higher over MSRP, but they would just list it as a used vehicle instead, even though it was still brand new, and then they could sell it for however much they want. And now, just a few years later, everything has changed. We went over this before, the 5 slowest selling trucks of July 2025, 3 out of the 5 trucks were EVs, including the Ford Lightning. But here's a Silverado EV, 130-day market supply. The Ford Lightning has a 141-day market supply. EV trucks are a hard sell. And then the Sierra EV that I didn't even know existed until I was looking it up for a YouTube video. 196 market day supply, and they were trying to charge so much more for these types of trucks. But we could keep talking about statistics, with almost half of the top 10 slowest selling cars being electric vehicles.
These are the top 10 slowest selling cars of 2025. Number 9 is the Kia EV6, which has a market supply currently sitting at 217 days, with about 975 sold in the last 45 days and 4,712 currently for sale across the country. Number 8 is the Porsche Taycan, which has a market supply sitting around 229 days, with 378 sold in the last 45 days and 1,978 currently for sale. Number 4 is the Audi Q4 e-tron, which has a market supply sitting at 271 days, 533 sold in the last 45 days, and 2,521 still for sale across the country. Number 3 is the Volkswagen ID4, with a market supply sitting at 297 days, 939 sold in the last 45 days, and 6,202 still for sale.
So all of those numbers were even worse than the already slow selling EV trucks. And we have a comment from one of you guys. Now I know why one of the dealerships I dealt with 5 years ago is calling me asking me if I want a new car. They're not making any sales. And there are a lot of TikToks with dealership salesmen trying to get you into one of these EVs any way they can.
We're here. We made it. Did you know that dealerships will pay you to buy a car from them? I got one of these dealerships to pay me $12,000 to buy one of these cars. Just be on the lookout for the blue hooks. That means that they're electric, and they'll actually give you a huge discount plus rebates, and you could actually take a check home for $12,000 just for buying a car.
If they're paying you to buy a car, you're still giving them money. All you're talking about is a discount on, at least in this example, one of the all-electric Jeep Wranglers that in general have a ridiculously high MSRP, so even the $12,000 check that you're apparently getting is still wildly overpriced for what they are, let alone the fact of depreciation and the reliability issues. It's just something that people don't want right now, so they're sitting.
So nobody is buying this new electric Jeep. And I could tell you exactly why. All over the country, Jeep dealerships are throwing ridiculous discounts on this brand new electric Jeep Wagoneer S. But before we jump into it, did you know that this car even came out? It's on dealership lots right now, but they're just sitting there, rotting, and nobody's even buying them. It was supposed to be Jeep's grand entrance into the electric world. It's luxurious, it has 600 horsepower, decent range, but why is nobody buying this thing? Well, the starting MSRP is over $70,000 US. And let's be honest, who wants to cough up that much scratch for an electric Jeep in this economy?
On top of all the issues that I said about the Wrangler, I also didn't know that this thing existed until I saw one on the road out in public, and I was just confused because it just looked like an odd version of the Wagoneer. Had no idea that there was an electric version. So marketing does definitely come into play with a lot of these examples as well. For some reason, they're pumping out all of these different models, but then they're not advertising it well enough for most people to even know they exist. But either way, when they find out it's over $70,000, probably way more if you get a bunch of options, who's really going to be buying it in this economy? And then in turn, you get a whole bunch of salesmen trying to get rid of them.
This is hands down the best vehicle to use your $7,500 tax credit on. The Wagoneer S gives you over 600 horsepower and a 0 to 60 in just 3.4 seconds.
Do you guys want to know how much money you guys are saving on these two cars right here? This much. For this Charger right here, you're going to be at $59 a month plus tax and license with $2,995 down. This one, you're going to be at $88 a month plus tax and license with $3,995 down. Come on down to Stoners Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. I can help you out. My name is Jason, okay? Ask for me.
Does that include the towing for when they break down? But keeping with the examples they used in the video, they had the Wagoneer S and the Dodge Charger EV that basically nobody bought.
Well, guys, it's official. The all-new, all-electric 2024 and 2025 Dodge Charger RT has been discontinued. So if you were hoping to snag one of these bad boys up in one of the future model years, that's just not going to be the case. The great news is that the upper-level Scat Pack all-electric Dodge Charger is still going to be in production for the year 2026. Along with the all-electric chargers, there's also going to be the 6-pack options, which are the inline 6 twin turbo and a standard output and high output, as well as we should be seeing a V8 option coming back to these cars here very soon.
Sorry, but who wants to buy an EV muscle car? They built a car that nobody wanted. What did you think was going to happen? I really don't understand the thought process at all, to be honest, but we could go over to an interesting experience from one of you guys. I'm an electrician and seen about 3 customers who spent around $10,000 to completely change out the main breaker panel on their house because the existing one was maxed out and couldn't support their new cars with a home charger. If you plan on getting a new EV that requires a good charger, check your home panels first. So maybe you did decide to get one of them recently and wanted to charge from home, but if you just plug it into a wall outlet, it will take forever. And then this purchase could possibly turn into an extra $10,000 having to set up your home to be able to charge the new car. Just another reason why people are getting pushed away.
There you go. So I'm at the Mercedes dealership and look how many EQSs are for sale here. I mean, they're just lined up with Mercedes EQEs, EQBs. I mean, I posted a video on if you bought EQS, how effed you were, but damn, yo. I mean, the whole front line of the dealership is nothing but electric EQSs, EQBs. This is crazy. Even the back lot filled with them of EQSs, EQBs, all this Mercedes electric vehicles they are not selling. Look at that. Look, straight all the way down. All this.
It honestly looks like a museum, but some of the comments people wanted a $30,000 EV, not a $100,000 EV. For the price of an EQS, you could have a Porsche Taycan. But as we saw earlier, those have been sitting on the market for quite a long time as well, so they're not selling either. Used to work at a Mercedes dealership. Those cars are not worth the money whatsoever, even as a lease. We've seen examples before where the EQS had an MSRP of around $116,000, and within just a few years, the car was worth either $40,000 or $46,000. It was absolutely unbelievable. And the same thing goes for the new G-Wagon.
The real reason the Mercedes-Benz G580, aka the all-electric G-Wagon that's pictured right here, isn't selling isn't because it's a bad vehicle. In fact, it's actually a fantastic SUV. The real reason it's not selling is because people have seen this story play out too many times before. They've watched electric vehicle owners end up with tens of thousands of dollars of negative equity due to how quickly electric vehicles can depreciate, and they're not willing to take that risk on this all-electric G-Wagon. I mean, just look at the history of high-end electric vehicles. Just take a look at the all-electric GMC Hummer as an example. People were paying $150,000 or more for Hummers just a couple of years ago. And at $150,000, if you put $30,000 down, assuming a 5% interest rate over 72 months, your payment on that Hummer would have been $2,200, approximately $2,200 a month. And fast forward to today, you can lease Hummer EVs for about $1,100 a month with nothing down.
I actually want to see how much Hummer EVs are worth right now. I'm seeing them in the $70,000 range, low 70s. Some of them are in the high 60s, but I specifically remember when I first started this channel, one of the examples we watched in a car video was somebody who paid $330,000 for a Hummer EV. And now if I wanted to, I could go pick one up for 70 grand. Why would anybody want to do something similar with the all-electric G-Wagon? They're very expensive, and in comparison to getting a G63, they keep their value way better than any of the new EV models coming out. But speaking of some pretty brutal depreciation, we have another clip right here.
So this YouTuber just found out how much his Tesla Model S Plaid has depreciated in the past 2 years, and he couldn't believe how much money he's lost. This is Kyle Connor, otherwise known as Out of Spec Reviews, and he bought his Model S Plaid back in 2022. Here's his sticker. He paid $140,000 when the car was brand new. He just had his car appraised by Tesla. Wait till you see how much it's depreciated compared to a gas car. So with just 37,000 miles on the odometer, Tesla offered him a whopping $46,400. That's a loss of $94,000 or 67% of its original value.
In 2 years as well. It's not like we're talking about a decade. I don't even know what I would do. That's just absolutely unreal to me. But we could switch over to yet another one of the manufacturers going through their new EV era, and it's really not looking good for them right now.
$30,000 off. I've got a 2024, I've got 2 remaining I-Paces. They're both R designs, and I'm taking $30,000 off the price tag. This car lists for $80,270. You can get it for only $50,270. If that's not good enough, I can still lease this car for $599, 0 down, 0 out of pocket, and I'm gonna ship it anywhere in the US.
I mean, the video really speaks for itself. The amount he's trying to sell, $30,000 off. I'll ship it anywhere. I'll lease it. Please get it off my lot. That kind of shows you what the entire Jaguar brand is looking like right now. Remember, people, there's a reason why they're dropping prices that much. Ask them about their prices on vehicles people actually want. That's the oldest EV technology you could buy as a new car. Hard pass. Only $50,000? Pass. But this next example, I bet I could see into the future. If this thing ever does come out, they're just going to sit on the lot till they disintegrate.
This is the all-new Jaguar Type 00. You have probably seen a whole lot about this car and the advertisement that it was in. Jaguar is going in an all-new, all-electric direction, and it starts with this car. This is the first time I've been able to see it in person. It is very large, very long, but it only has 2 doors. It has no window there at the back. That is a really interesting looking car. Let me know what you think of it in the comments.
So personally, I don't think it's actually coming out. It's basically a concept car, but the all-new electric direction that Jaguar is trying to take is probably not going to be the best in the end. I know the company as a whole has not been doing well for a while, but many other manufacturers saying that they were going to be EV first over the past few years have backpedaled pretty heavily. I know Porsche and Mercedes comes to mind immediately, but one of the comments here, Type O is likely an accurate sales forecast number. A 90s animated Batmobile. But speaking with the more retro look, we could go to the Volkswagen ID Buzz.
Y'all look at these. Got these 25 ID Buzzes. I got them in orange. I got them in blue. And I got them in yellow, I guess. I don't know. They're super cool to look at. All electric bus, old school. They are able to be sold now. If you're looking for an all electric, I'm your guy. I got plenty of them.
You could kind of hear that he's a little bit desperate to get these out of the parking lot, but the biggest negative with them, $70,000, is insane. They should be priced around $30,000, way overpriced. The crap range will be the end of this road trip van. I think they sit at around $230 or $250, not really great to be honest. Is anyone buying these? To be honest, no.
So with the bus, VW definitely decided to target the rich hippies that used to drive them back in the day, because the first edition starts at $70,000 and it's all electric.
But they got a sale price of $67,000 instead of almost $72,000. I've only ever seen one of these on the road in my life, and I feel like I won't be seeing too many in the future. But we could keep on with the Volkswagen EVs and the reliability issues that go along with it.
Here is what happened when we sued Volkswagen and why their stalling backfired. Our client bought a 2022 Volkswagen ID4, hoping for a practical, affordable way into the EV space. But the headaches started early. The touchscreen would freeze, the navigation would glitch, and sometimes the car wouldn't charge unless it was restarted. He brought it to the dealer on 4 different occasions. Each visit ended with the same thing. We're waiting on an update from Volkswagen. At one point, they kept the car for over 2 weeks just to reinstall the same buggy software while he was still making payments the whole time. And here is where our client completely lost it. After that 2-week wait with no fix, he called us. We sued Volkswagen, and Volkswagen finally agreed to repurchase the car. They paid off the loan, they refunded what he put in minus some deductions, and they covered all of our legal fees, which is required by law. We have still to this day never lost a case against Volkswagen, and we never plan on doing so.
So when there's so much tech and electronics in these vehicles that the manufacturers can't even figure out what's wrong, you know that they've gone too far. But honestly, I think Volkswagen doesn't think they've gone far enough, because they're in even more hot water recently with yet another subscription in their new EV sedan.
Volkswagen just did something that should make every car owner furious. They're selling their electric ID3 with its full horsepower locked behind a paid subscription. The car comes from the factory with 228 horsepower, but if you don't pay a monthly fee, it's software limited to just 201. For about $22 a month, they'll flip a digital switch and unlock the power that was already inside the car that you paid for. First, BMW tried to sell you a subscription for heated seats. Now VW is selling you a subscription for your engine. Their definitive convince, it gives customers a sportier driving experience without a higher initial purchase price. But this isn't just about cars, this is the future they want for everything. Imagine a monthly fee to use the high heat setting on your oven or the fast cycle on your dishwasher. You don't own the product, you're just renting its best features.
And that's exactly what I've been saying. And because Volkswagen started it, every manufacturer is slowly going to roll this out and make everything worse. They'll try to squeeze every nickel and dime out of you until the end of time. I can't imagine what this is going to look like 10, 15 years in the future when all of the current models are all used, dated cars. The secondary market is going to look like a bloodbath. And I do have to say that overall, I'm not an EV hater. I personally think it's still way too expensive for the amount of range, and there's just not enough time put into it yet. A bunch of manufacturers saw how much money Tesla was making during COVID, so they just started throwing a whole bunch of batteries into vehicles, getting them out to market as quickly as possible to try to make a quick buck without actually trying to make something designed well. Hopefully this type of technology advances into the future, but right now I just don't think it's that good of a deal.
John, what's the worst vehicle purchase you've made?
I don't know if it was a purchase, but I leased a 23 Aria for a year. And man, I don't know, electric car life isn't for me. The charging around here sucks. I mean, it was a nice car, but it was just so inconvenient. Every 300 miles, you'd have to wait 16 hours with the chargers around here to fill it up. So I was glad it was just a one-year lease, but yeah, probably the worst car purchase for me.
And speaking of that, we could go right over to yet another salesman taking off a ton of money for one of these Nissans just to try to sell them.
Check it out, $8,000 off this 2025 Nissan Aria. The best thing about this vehicle too is you ain't got to sit in line at the gas pump no more. This car's 100% electric.
So instead, you're just going to have to wait in line at the charging stations for possibly hours. We've seen that before as well. $8,000 off and $26,000 in dealer fees. Price was already way too high to discount it that much. That plus they're dropping this model, another one discontinued, because it was not a big seller. Oh yeah, that plus 100% electric from Nissan, probably not the best deal there. So I mean, I have even more examples, but I think you guys get the gist. Especially in this climate right now, people don't have too much expendable income, so even with the dealerships and salesmen trying to take thousands of dollars off, it still doesn't seem too worth it to me. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.